Hey, well, it looks like we should begin. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Catherine Athens, and I have made it my life's work to help people find themselves. And I was listening to the young woman before me, and she basically was talking about intuition. And I'm going to talk today about the role of love in intuition and the importance of following your intuition. Remember that your intuition is God speaking to you as your inspiration is, and then you act on what the universe, God, is saying to you. This is the way that you will always do the right thing. Now, learning to know what is your intuition versus your programming is a little bit difficult because we've all been programmed with so many negative programs, and they're, so deeply embedded within us that it's hard at first to tell, am I imagining this? Is this right? And then we have an overriding voice, which is the negative programming, saying, no, you have to do this, or your dad wanted you to do that, or your mom wanted you to do that, or your teacher wanted you to do that. So we get a lot of conflicting voices. And what the problem is that we don't get chance to be quiet and still and know the small voice inside of us, which is the God part of us speaking to us. Of course, you always have guidance around you, and it depends on how attentive you are to your guidance. I have had to kick what I call angels out and get some new ones in because my clients have not been talking to their guidance or their angels at all. And so I ask people, I say, if someone gives you a present or you give someone a present and they don't say thank you or they don't even acknowledge it, would you give them another? No, you'd walk away, you'd be silent. So we have to acknowledge our guidance. We have to say thank you to the universe, even if we don't know what we're saying thank you for, except that our life is a gift. At any moment, we could cease to exist, because the truth is we don't know where we came from anyway. One of my old spiritual teachers, Rocco Erico, was...
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, sorry to disturb you. Barbara,
Sorry.
can you join? Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, you can go on. Okay, sorry for
Do you
interrupting.
need something? Hello?
Yeah, I'm the Zoom engineer. I'm searching for a speaker, but okay, that's fine. You can start now.
I'm not the speaker you're searching for? Who knows? Maybe I am. You never know. Okay, so I'm not sure where I was, but let's start again. So what I say is the divine guidance that you have, that intuition, is really a blueprint for your life. So the thing that you think is the biggest dream, the most outlandish idea, that's where you're supposed to be. You're not supposed to be crawling on the ground like some sort of insect. You're supposed to be standing up on your feet as the most brilliant being that has ever been created. Now, that sounds egotistical, but it's not. And if we were going to use our inner abilities, notice that when we had this pandemic, that the major force was to make everyone terrified. And what happens when we become terrified? We shut down our hearts, our brains, our intuition, and we go into fight or flight mode. So people were in that kind of mode where they were terrified, didn't want to leave the house. Many still don't want to leave the house. And then we got conflicting messages. Now, if you want to brainwash someone, what you do is you make them terrified, and then every other hour you change the message. And the message is diametrically opposed to what the previous message was. So the brain can't get around that, and we're terrified, and we have no access to our inner knowledge. So in order to have intuition, we have to have relaxation. And how many of us take time to relax, even 5 minutes to breathe and relax? So the first thing I'd like to do is just lead you in a short meditation and to bring you back into your body. I gave a talk one time at the Kiwanis Club, and I was talking about bringing you into the body and understanding, what is your stomach saying? Well, one of the members after the talk came up to me and he said, I think my stomach was saying I eat too much lunch. So he didn't understand at all what I was talking about. And he was keeping it on a very material, three-dimensional level. And we have to let go of that level right now. The three-dimensional world is changing. You know, our last 6 planets retrograde, our full moon in Aries, we are under huge shifts in our physical, mental, emotional, but also an opportunity to grow greatly in our spirituality. And what does that mean? It means letting go of the negative programs that you have in you. First of all, identifying what are your negative programs. Maybe you don't even know. Now, when I teach my students, I've been teaching for, 94, almost 30 years. I hate to say that. I started when I was 2. I've been teaching for over 25 years, we'll say that. So I started around 5. And what I've taught my clients is that in order to be spiritual, you have to be clean psychologically, okay? Which means coming inside and cleaning out all the junk that's in us so that we can receive the pure inspiration, because so many of us act like we are, pardon me, intuitive, but we're not. We're just projecting our stuff onto someone else and saying a bunch of baloney that doesn't do anybody any good, but pretending that is actually some intuition or spirituality. So let's together, please, if you're sitting down, sit up in your chair a little bit so that you're sitting a little forward. Put your feet on the floor. We're going to do just a short breathing meditation. And what I would like you to be aware of is, I'd like you to be aware of whatever is coming up for you. Even if it sounds silly or stupid or crazy, I want you to be aware of that and be willing to bring it into your consciousness. So our idea is to go down and to be aware inside of us of our negative programs. Now, what's a negative program? Oh, you're worthless. You always want what you want. You're on your high horse. You can never be satisfied. All these things that get said to us that we inculcate and incorporate into our person. That is our negative programming. And we have to let that go. Because in truth, we are all brilliant, amazing creations, individual creations of the great universe, which is a phenomenal creation in itself. Okay, so feet on the floor. And I just ask you to close your eyes and just breathe normally. Now, my normal breathing tends to be shallow because I tend to be stressed. So I would like you to put that aside, go down below your belly button in your hara and breathe up from there. So you inhale all the way from there, and then you slowly exhale and exhale all the way down through your hips, your thighs, your knees, down through your calves and chins, down through your ankles and feet and toes. Okay, so we really exhale slowly. So let's inhale again. And then exhale slowly. And one more time, inhale. And then exhale slowly. And as you do this, I'd like you to continue the inhale and exhale slowly. You begin to feel what's inside of you. And I'd like you to go to that place that may not feel that good. And I'd like you to send light. Nice white light, yellow light, red light. I'd like you to send light, okay? And you notice that you start to relax. The energy starts going through your shoulders, through your upper arms, your elbows, down through your hands, down through your feet. Nice deep breath. And let it go. Slowly down through your body, relaxing, energizing every cell of your body. And allowing your imagination now to grow, allowing yourself to get in touch with that intuition. And what I like to say is, I like to say, spirit, guidance, universe. You can say Mother Earth, Father Sky, that which is alive and creative. I wish you to come into me and enlighten me about everything on earth, everything in the sky, everything around me, everything in the universe. I'm willing to know. I'm willing to be enlightened. I'm willing to know. I'm willing to feel. What do you feel now? Think about it. Do you feel love? I'm willing to feel the love of the universe running through my body. Very, very, very important. So it's love that allows our body to stay together. It's love that allows our cells to communicate. I like to say this, so I'll say it. Just imagine if your stomach cells decided, oh, I think today I'm going to lie to my liver cells. And they'd start lying to each other and they don't communicate. What would happen? You'd start falling apart, literally cell by cell. So the integrity of our body, the integrity of our home on earth, or the integrity of the whole universe stands on love. We are made of love, and when we send love, all kinds of wonders happen. We could call them miracles, but all kinds of wonders happen. If you would think about the fact that there's nothing solid, really, that everything is vibrational, sound, vibrational, magnetic, vibrational. There are many layers of vibration And that's what appears to be solid. But in truth, there is not solid. I know when I first started my chemistry class, they said that imagine the nucleus of an atom being on the 50-yard line, and then the electron is in the end zone. That's how much space there is in your atoms, maybe on a very small level. But remember that if you take the space between my fingers and you start going down, it's infinite. Just like when you take the space outside in the universe, it's infinite. Whatever we have learned about the way space acts in school is wrong, because we think of space as three-dimensional: length, width, depth. We think of a straight line. We think of when the rocket's going out into space, it goes in a straight line, and then we measure how we're going to get to different planets by a straight line. But the universe is not straight, it's curved. It's probably curved and curved and curved onto itself. And so we can move and maneuver differently. But I'd just like you to think about this. What if there are no straight lines? What if a straight line does not exist? Just think about that. What if every line is curved? Maybe several times. What then? The straight line was used as a way to help us visualize. But of course, like all of those examples, we start taking them as if they are true or real, when it is not. Okay? So then we start seeing things in an aberrational way, not in a true way. The way we start seeing truth in a true way is to come to our hearts, open up our hearts. Now, if you put your fingers, I like to put my hands on my heart, and I like to just love my heart for a moment and say, heart, thank you for doing amazing things. This is the strongest muscle in the body. This heart muscle never stops pumping as long as you're alive. And that's an amazing feat. But inside the heart, of course, we've written the heart brain, which I hope you all have gotten a copy of this book. I wrote it with my colleague, Marie-France Louval. It took us about 2.5 years. We started doing research, and we were going to write a very scientific book. And then we realized neither of us is a scientist in that way. Then we were going to write a very simple book and realized that's not good either. So we came to a way of writing simple words with very interesting and intense concepts. Look at this picture. Isn't that what you're doing to your heart? You're strangling your heart. Oh, I can't feel anything. I live in the Silicon Valley with all the cyborgs. So how many people here, they can't feel anything because they're too busy going to do something, which doesn't really mean anything. And so what happens is they have heart attacks. Women now are having heart attacks just like men, or maybe even more often, because we start copying men and we forgot to be women. We forgot about our intuition. We forgot about our natural tendency to know. Okay, so this is knowingness on a very deep level. What do you know? So I pulled from the talk, I pulled my book, You Just Do It. And you can get these on catherineathansphd.com or angelsisland.com. You can order any of these books. And they're good books because I wrote them, and I wrote them with truth, and I wanted to write what would be helpful to you. If you're on the quest, the spiritual quest to grow spiritually, these are books for you. I have been on this quest my whole life because I realized at a very young age, I think I was 3, that I wasn't like other people. I kept looking around at other people and I wondered what was going on. And I knew I wasn't like that. And I also knew that I knew stuff that other people didn't know. I knew that my Uncle Jimmy drank too much and I could see that half his stomach was gone. I knew that my Uncle Timmy was messing around with women. I didn't know what that meant, but I knew stuff. I knew when cars would have accidents. I knew what was going to happen. I knew the weather. I knew when something good was going to happen too, because I do not like to be a psychic who only sees disaster. So finally, when I got into my spiritual journey, when someone told me, honey, you're just really psychic, I started reading and reading and reading and reading, going to classes, groups, just trying to understand what that meant. And it's true that everyone has so many more abilities than we use. Okay. In my book, Breathe, we talk about the crystals inside of the human. And of course, within the crystals lies all the knowledge of the universe. If you go into the ocean and those sea crystals, one of the reasons, besides being in the great salt water with iodine, we love being in the ocean is it stimulates the opening of our own crystals inside of us, our own knowingness, which is fascinating. So the truth is we have the potential to be very, very, very knowing, psychic, sensitive. And most of us just don't use it for one reason or another. We get caught up in the material delusion that we're material beings, or we get caught up in our lower emotions of jealousy and hatred and so forth. And we begin to accept what I like to call the pie theory of economics. When we were in the 5th grade, could have been the 4th grade, they drew a big circle. Did your teacher draw a big circle on the board for math time and then cut it up into pieces and shade pieces to teach you about fractions? Well, people actually think that if you get a third of the pie, then that's a third of the pie that I don't get. And so it's led us to believe falsely that we are in competition with each other, when indeed, thank you, with our nuclear science, physicists, I love, I can't think of his name right now, but he comes to these sessions, who has solved the field theories of Einstein. We all have a pipeline, if you will, to the universe, and the universe is infinite. Now, when I first read that in Eric Butterworth's book, I was shocked. I kept going around and saying, oh my gosh, the universe is infinite. Universe is infinite. And it's right here, right now, going on inside me and outside me. Right now, all of the universe is right here. Now, that's very hard to visualize and very hard to understand, very hard to believe if you were trained in science. And I was trained as a scientist. I love science. So I approach my metaphysics scientifically, or my science metaphysically, and it's very, very interesting. So just think if you believed and you acted as if there was infinite love for you, infinite wisdom, infinite prosperity, infinite friendship, how you would be different. Just this one axiom that we've accepted has been so destructive to the human psyche. The axiom of what I call scarcity economics, pie theory economics. There's only so much of the pie, and boy, I got to get mine first, and I'm going to trouble you in order to do it. And look what that sets up in us. It sets up jealousy and anger and hatred and competition and misunderstanding, because generally when we step over everybody to get our piece of the pie and we reach out and we grab it and we open our hand, there's nothing there. All that effort for nothing. because we don't have to do that. We don't have to go after something because it's all right here with us now. So everything you need is right with you now. It is just a matter of changing your programming and being willing to be receptive, receive it, feel it, and make it so. You know, we love Captain Picard, make it so. What a difference it would have made through the 50s, 60s, 70s, and now with all the fighting going on in Washington. No, that's too much. No, 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 no. If we had this understanding of infinity, if we had this understanding of infinite wealth, infinite prosperity, infinite love, how would we be behaving? Think about that. I mean, that's pretty interesting to me. So having to start taking out these programs, and I tell people, give it to God, give it to the universe, say, I give away all that is false, and I go free with truth. Because truth is love, and love is truth, and truth is kind and loving. Lies are harmful and deadly and death-producing. Truth is producing life. And it produces more because you feel it, you're in it. Eric Butterworth says, act as if you're in the sea of infinite prosperity. Feel it around you, sensorially. Feel that. What does that feel like? When you can do that, you can first relax, you can start feeling, you can say, I'm willing to let go of my diagram of the universe, whatever that is, because, you know, science changes all the time. My daughter didn't want to go into science because she said, Mom, they kind of lie. I like to go into literature because the truths in literature hold forever. Very interesting and astute observation. Why do the scientists lie? They don't lie. It's just that from moment to moment, they discover new ways of seeing the whole picture. So the picture has to change and expand. So our picture now has to change and expand. We're in the age of Aquarius. And I was explaining to one of my clients yesterday, the water bearer is actually water. It's actually spiritual knowledge. It's actually spiritual energy that's pouring down through our Buddhic and our crown chakra down into us directly. It's direct knowledge from the universe. We don't need the Pope. We don't need the Dalai Lama. We don't need the guru anymore. I mean, we need people guidance to help us along, but we can open to our own understandings. And what does that do? That builds a sense of confidence inside. It builds a sense of, oh, if I want something, I need to be still and quiet and breathe and ask in a positive manner, and then stop and be willing to receive. You know, I have clients who say, oh, I want $10 million, but they hate anybody who has $10 million. How are they supposed to receive? They have so much hatred and jealousy and all kinds of junk that gets in the way. So really, from the time probably we're conceived, maybe even before that, we start getting these programs of lie. And they build one on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other. And so, oh, it's hard because we don't know at first. But as we grow to be able to be objective, to look and see, we start realizing, well, in a moment, a lot of this stuff I believe isn't even true, and it's getting in my way. It's getting in my way of being the being I wish to be. Now, originally, we were such great beings, we could speak because the throat is the chakra of creation and make it so. But we got so entrenched in our physicality, for God knows what reason, that we became more and more and more dense and physical. And thank God we can't speak and make it so, because most of our relatives would be dead right now, right? You know, we'd say and do things that were very bad. So at least we have that kind of safety net system while we are investigating the love part of discernment. And if you can begin to love, send love, whatever you love. Maybe you love your little nephew or niece. Maybe you love a beautiful flower that's first blooming. Maybe you love to ski to the top of the mountain and stand there and you love skiing down. So I'm asking you to open your heart. And as you know your heart, it becomes clear to you that what the heart can know, is far beyond that which the brain alone can conceive. So the brain is sort of this two-dimensional, go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, wash your face, go to bed, blah, 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 blah. But the heart is multidimensional. And in the heart, you begin to know what is universally true. Now, why is this good for you? Because it makes life easier if you go with truth. And if you can allow yourself to receive. I get in pinches and I stop and I go for the 46th Psalm, which says, be still and know I am God. Be still and know the universe is here with you all the time. You're never alone. You're never without facility to make things different. Be still and know. And then you begin to change.
The reality is it's kind of easy to get a Vax card.
I'm sorry? Oh, we had some extraneous talk here. So you become aware of universal truth. And in universal truth, it is infinite. It is beyond the length, width, and depth idea. So with infinite wealth, where I'm reading Eric Butterworth's spiritual prosperity book, there have been probably times in your life or in your past lives. I'll tell you a story. Several years ago, I was doing a counseling session and the name Bruges came through. Usually comes from up on the right. Bruges. And I said to my client, do you know Bruges? What is Bruges? I didn't know. And then the next day, it's starting to rain here, which is good. The next day, my French client came in and I said, do you know Bruges? What is Bruges? She goes, oh yeah, that's a city in Belgium. I said, I have to go there. I have to go there. And I wasn't sure why, but as the time came, and it turned out I was able to go to France with her, and then we were able to take a train into Bruges. As it turns out, I needed to go there because I had several nun lifetimes there. And if you're a nun, you make a vow of poverty. You swear to be poor. And I decided I didn't want to be poor anymore. I wanted to have prosperity. And of course, for me, I had to physically go to the place. And we went to Bruges, and it was so interesting because we took a walking tour. And our poor guide, I said, oh, we came to a square, pardon me, outside a church. And I said, isn't this the square where they tortured people when people were in church? So people would know if they got out of line, they would be tortured too. And the woman looked at me and went, well, yeah. like, what's going on? And then as we walked farther to a small lake, I said, didn't the lake come in farther here? And wasn't there a bridge and a nunnery over there along with the men? And she goes, well, yeah. I said, well, I lived over there. And I think I had 3 lifetimes there, plus one in France with the mother who was my mother this time as the mother superior. And Oigabal was she a mother superior. Anyway. So I went and I said, I have to clean these lifetimes because this poverty program, I would be doing well. And then this poverty program would kick in and destroy all my wealth. It happened again and again and again. So I had to go clear and clear. Now I'm mostly clear, but there's still some residue there. So I invite you, if something is recurring in your life that is negative, it's possible you made a vow to have that in your life in a past lifetime. It's possible that that happened. So I'd ask you, when you're doing your nice meditation, breathing, to go into that, say, was there something that I agreed to that isn't really good for me? Is that something that I can change now? I release and let go. I release and let go. I call all programs where I am harmed or anyone is harmed null and void now. All contracts null and void. Now that is a very powerful thing to say. And then to let it be, to pay attention to what's going on and see that you can make that so, that you can live a better life because you can let go of old vows that were anti-life. And I suggest right now, say, I let go of any and all vows in any and all dimension, ideas, story, time, where it was negative to me or anyone around me. And I am willing to receive, open yourself up. I am willing to receive the love of the universe and the truth of the universe now. Remember to say now. Always say now. Not I will or I could, but I am doing this now. Remember that I am is the command you make of the universe to make it so. Because our universe exists around us to support what we wish to have happen. And the idea of discernment is making conscious that which is unconscious so we can make better choices. And that's really, really important. Okay. What choices are you making? People go, I didn't have a choice. That just happened to me. I don't know if you have people that you know that say, well, you know, that person made me feel horrible, just horrible. Say, well, wait a moment. That person is who they are. And you chose to be around that person knowing they were going to make you horrible, feel horrible. Perhaps you could not be around them anymore. Perhaps you could say, I choose to be happy no matter what. Okay. So I'm supposed to talk tomorrow as well. And I'll go into a little bit at a little more depth about discernment and love. Here I open to Oscar Wilde, who was a very misunderstood person. I love Oscar Wilde. He said, you don't love someone for their looks or their clothes or their fancy car, but because they sing a song only you can hear. It's quite something. So they sing a song only you can hear. So the idea is that we want this love to go into the 50 trillion cells that are in our body. We want this love to go into every cell. And then we want every cell to expand, have a different understanding, and be more alive. So the idea of spiritual growth is not, oh, the old Catholic idea, I'm going to take the cat of nine tails and whip myself because I have strange thoughts. It's about allowing yourself to be happy, to feel loved, to be calm, allowing that to happen. It's a hard job. It takes paying attention. It takes the four-letter word that we in the United States have forgotten. It's the dirty word of W-O-R-K. It takes work, but your work will be rewarded, I guarantee you. And you will be free, free from misunderstanding, free from ignorance, free from being dependent, where you will be independent because you will get your information from all around you in the universe. So we'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. I'm going to be speaking at 5:30. I guess this is 45 minutes, so I'm going to be polite. Is there anybody who is watching this who has a question or a comment? Please, I ask you to share this now. Okay, if not, I want you to just take this time, these 4 minutes, and close your eyes again. Just close our eyes, inhale, and exhale. Slow, deep breathing, allowing yourself to get into the space where you're willing to receive, you're willing to understand, and you're willing to let go of everything. You're willing to be without an identity for a while. And we'll talk about the idea of identity. I'm writing this down so that I can start with this tomorrow when we meet. The identity. I have clients who goes, well, if I do that, I'll have no identity. Say, oh, well, what identity do you have now? You know, the caterpillar doesn't become the butterfly. The caterpillar becomes liquid mush without an identity. And from the liquid mush comes the butterfly. The universe shapes it and brings it up. And there's this beauty that comes out of what may appear to be just a bunch of nothing. So when you rid yourself, that's when the universe can work with you and create you, the beautiful butterfly. So thank you for allowing me to speak to you today. I'm very grateful and honored, and I pray all of you are doing very, very well, seeking the truth, staying in the light, staying as the light bearers of earth, keeping the faith, and moving on gently. So until next time, this is Dr. Catherine Athens. It is October 23rd at now it's 6:15 your time. And I will meet you again tomorrow at 5:30 p.m., the 24th, again here. And we're going to talk about your identity. Okay, thank you very, very much. Bye-bye.